And is it true that you also fry eggs on top of this?
You can try, but I don't think you.
Okay.
They won't be too tasty.
I'm Jason Victor Serenas, contributing editor to Stereophile, one of many. We are here at the VTL factory on the 10th anniversary of my meeting B. Lam and Luke Manley of VTL at a show, and discovering that we had all of these things in love of music in common. And finally, 10 years later, we get to see the factory.
Hi.
Hello.
Hi, welcome to VTL. I'm Luke Manley. This is B. Lam.
How convenient that you're
coming.
just here right inside the door.
I'm very
Even
sorry for
here.
that machine noise. Come in.
Yes, please.
Okay.
Hopefully it doesn't
Okay.
go off when we're trying to listen.
What do we have
So this
here?
is our listening room. It's our factory listening room where we do all the quality control, the final listening of everything. B does that, as you saw in Jason's interview, was B's the ears of VTL. I kind of want to give you a quick overview, if that's okay. Sort of the layout of the factory, so you know where things happen. Things sort of start in the stockroom or the purchasing, where we have approved vendor lists and things. They issue the POs. We've got a full MRP system. The kits are made here.
Wait. What's MRP? What's all this?
Material Resource Planning,
Thank you.
labor and parts.
Okay.
So we use this computer system to plan our parts in advance. And we generate kit lists that have reference designators that match to the PC board, so we know where all the parts are going to go. So we'll issue a kit or kits, send it into production. The board will get stuffed, or it'll get sent out for outside production. The board will get stuffed and brought back into the stockroom, and then re-kitted as a job, I guess, or as a complete unit assembly. Then it goes into production for assembly, mechanical assembly, then electrical wiring. Then it gets into test, and then goes into burn-in. And all of these things are documented by the stuffing is shown, where all the parts go and the sequence they go in. We've got full documentation on where the wires go. And also for, the board ends up like that once all its wiring is done. Then when it goes into an amplifier, it needs to get wired, and there's documentation for that. And there's a traveler card that follows the amp around where mechanical assembly, electrical assembly, burn-in, test, all those things are tracked on the card, and critical voltages are done in the test. An audio precision audio test is done, and then it comes into burn-in for at least 24 hours. Then it goes into QC, and a second set of the same measurements are generated over here. Then it comes into the listening room where B listens to it. Then it goes into shipping and packing, and she signs off on it. So that's the total quality process. The whole idea of this, I think I should have said this in the beginning, is that people want to know that what they heard at the store or what they saw reviewed, and in our case as well, when we apply safety certifications, when those things, they're trying to determine that the unit that was tested is exactly the same as what we're making. So there's a documented, auditable, documented trail.
Okay, I have a number of questions.
Sure.
The first is, from the way you're talking about this, I've
Yeah.
been in factories like when I did Boulder.
Right.
They had a little machine that put this there, put
Yeah,
that there.
pick and place.
Do you have one of those, or
No,
people?
we don't need that. It's all through hole. So we just it's put it inserted
So
by
this
hand.
is all done by hand.
Right.
Okay, so that's the first thing to
Yeah.
establish, and the second thing to establish is every single product that you send out for sale
Right.
has been not only tested but has been listened
Yes.
to by B.
Not only do I listen, but I also do another round of testing. In addition to our QC engineers testing, I do another round of testing of the functionality. Okay, like volume settings or
All of
input
that.
selection, all
Yeah.
of that. Repeat all of that function as well. So yes, there will be rejects.
Okay, cool.
And
But they get reworked.
Yeah, I also want to add a little bit more about our quality process. I mean, Luke showed the manufacturing process where we have, the PC board stuff and all that. But every step of the way in our manufacturing process, we put quality control into it. So not only are the parts 100% inspected when they come in to our factory, but after the boards are stuffed, every component, every solder joint are inspected. And in many cases, we build special jigs after the inspection. They go through a special jig to test to make sure that the board itself works properly in terms of function before it's actually put into the unit. So you can actually see every board we have signatures by the QC engineer who inspected
Most
the
board
board.
didn't have space for QCs, but they do. Anyway, let's go around the factory and see what we're talking about in action.
All right, Jason, let me show you our stock room. So this is the stock room where all of our components, all of our parts are stored. And we also do kitting of the parts. We do 100% incoming inspection of the parts. We can come in and take a look here. Jason, these are PC boards that we use. For example, this one is the 7.5 PC board. These are very high quality parts that are made locally here in the US with US made materials.
And at one point, did you ever try getting Chinese parts or having the boards, anything about the boards done in China? And did that work out? Tell me.
No. The boards were always made in the U.S. by local manufacturers. However, at one point I discovered that they were using Chinese parts in the manufacturing of the boards. So the quality was not good, not acceptable, and we had to stop that and make sure that they use U.S. made materials.
Cool.
All right, so Jason, let me come and show you our production area. We make all of our PC boards here. We do PC board stuffing, and as you can see, Maria is doing the wiring of the back of the PC board. This is a MB450 main audio PC board, and this is of course her documentation. Here, yeah.
And Maria's been working here for 7 years, is that correct?
Yes, that's
Cool.
right. Yes, Adriana over here, she's working on the main display board of the Siegfried. This is a 4-layer board, so it requires more time to solder this board.
4 layers means that there's a second board underneath this?
Yes,
Okay.
the ground case is inside the board.
Got it. Oh, inside. Okay, cool. Cool.
Yeah. Okay, and then Felipe over here, he's doing amplifier, the wiring, the electrical wiring of the amplifier.
And Felipe, how
this-
long have you worked here?
Around 16 years.
16 years.
Yes.
Wow.
But even after 16 years, of course, he's still using the documentation, because that's the process here. Every unit has a documentation on how it's being built. He's doing the S200 wiring right now, and he's doing the power transformer wiring.
Cool.
So this is a testing for the 7.5, 6.5 output modules. This is a tester for the volume control, the volume of the 5.5, and this also tests the power supply unit of the 7.5, as you can see, and that's another testing for the 5.5 PC board. So all of the PC boards initially are tested after they're inspected, and then they get back into the stock room waiting to be assembled into a unit.
Did I hear you construct your own ribbons or something?
Yes, we do. We make our own ribbon cables, and the
Wow.
ribbon cables are being tested as well.
Wow.
Yes. So over here, I have a few more of these test jigs to show you. This is a very unique test jig that we use to test transformers, power transformers, to test the noise level. How high is the noise level of the transformers, the hum level, whether it's acceptable or not to use in our products. And over here,
So the transformer is made. You don't make the transformer, right? You buy it from
we
someone.
spec the transformers, we design the transformers, and they are made also locally.
And so the place that makes them doesn't do the quality control there. You have to do further tests here as well.
They do their testing too, but not at this level where it's a noise test. I mean,
Got
we
it.
have a very specific standard of the noise level that's acceptable. It's quantified.
Got
Like
it.
0 to 30 is acceptable, and then above 30 is not acceptable. Then it has to go back and get revarnished and reworked.
Got it.
Yes. So here are the ribbon cables that are being tested. We make these ribbon cables ourselves, and they, go through this testing process to check every pin is connected. And we also do capacitor matching, and this is very important for certain critical parts of the circuitry, especially in the phono stages. The capacitors come in; they do have very tiny variations, but they need to be matched exactly.
Got it.
Yeah, and this is our tester that we built for the MOSFETs that go into the Siegfried regulator power supply. This is a testing jig for the auto bias module for the Siegfried. So we do this, there's several functions that we test to see if this board is done correctly.
I'm curious, when, some people say we don't use auto bias for our tubes because it adds noise and it detracts from the sound. Did you have to spend a lot of time developing your auto bias to make sure that it was all, it didn't detract from the sound of the amp or the
Yes,
preamp?
yes, of course, yes. That's very important. I mean, sound quality is the highest priority that we put in our product development. But the auto bias is not working when there's music signal coming into the amplifier.
Right.
It detects whether there's music or not. So yeah,
So it switches out.
switches.
Right, so there's no
Exactly.
problem. Cool.
Roberto is our mechanical assembler, and he does the assembly. This is a S400 main audio section. He's doing all the assembly with small tools, hand tools. As you can see. And
I'm curious, people have been doing various things for various lengths of time. Did somebody say, that would be a good job for me, or I'd be better at this than that, or something like that?
I think it's a skill set. I mean, for example, Roberto, his mechanical, is a really great, excellent mechanical person. So he's very good with all his tools. So, but he's also starting to do some wiring as well. Yeah, it's a skill set when they first come in.
Cool.
We assess. And so when the unit is finished wiring over there, sorry, it's a little bit confusing, but it comes here waiting for test. So these are the units that are waiting for test. And then testing is done by our technician, Mr. Manning. He was the first employee. He's the first employee who joined us.
Wow.
Yes.
And that's how many years ago?
Like around 25.
Wow.
25, yeah.
Yes, yes. So every unit, we develop a test sheet for the unit, so that Mr. Manny follows this test sheet. He measures all the critical voltages, and if there's anything that goes wrong, then he has to debug it and see, where it went wrong.
So if something goes wrong, you have a sense of where that problem originated and what needs to be fixed?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, you can pull up the schematics on this
Yeah.
computer and the board layouts, and then he uses the audio precision to do an audio test once it passes all the critical voltage tests. So the audio precision is what Stereophile uses, except they use a system too.
Here is our tube testing jigs. We have 3 different jigs that we both use to burn in the tubes as well as select the tubes. So these jigs are specially built so that they output the same voltages, the screen and the plate voltages, as an amplifier. I don't think any commercial tube testers out there can do that. And then when we could go and do it, the testing the current draw of each tube, we mark on top of the tube the current draw number. And that becomes the number that we use to match and select the tube so that they closely perform as close possible together.
And is it true that you also fry eggs on top of this?
You can try, but I don't think you. They won't be too tasty.
This is a test of the how the Siegfried's power supply, precision regulated power supply. We have a huge 2 kilowatt car woofer down there, and we'll apply a full signal, and we're actually monitoring the high voltage. It's 609 volts is what it's regulated to. And if you go by where Manny is there, you'll be able to see the screen when he hits the power. You'll hear a bit of a noise, but you'll see that this voltage won't vary even at full power. Go for it, Manny.
It better not vary.
Okay, so that's cranking out full power, and the voltage is dead steady. That's 600 watts. You can see that on the AP. Can you, Jonah? Can you see the number there?
Right there. And the distortion.
Well, that's it. That's a potent power supply. And the B plus hasn't shifted 1 volt. Cut it off. It's horrible.
When the unit is finished testing, Mr. Manny finishes the testing and it passes electrical test, then they come over here for burn-in. So these are the units that are currently in burn-in. 120 volt units are here and 220, 240 volts over there. And as you can see, every unit has the test chart and a job following with everybody who works on the unit. We get sign off on the unit here. Okay, so we can go through here. This is a S400 being burned in, as you can see. And we come, after burning, the units come over here to the QC room, and Jose is our QC engineer. And he's testing a pair of 450s right now. And take a look, and he's measuring voltages. He's doing the second round of critical voltage measurement. After Mr. Manny does the first round, it gets burned in for 24 hours, and then we want to see if those voltages have changed or not.
And if they have changed, then what does that mean?
Go back and
do not pass
retest.
go, do not collect $200.
Yes,
Okay,
no.
for those who remember Monopoly. Okay.
Okay, right. But not only does he do the voltage testing, but he actually tests all the functionality and check all the wiring, and he does a full QC of the unit.
Cool.
Yeah. Okay. So after your unit passes the test, and with the cosmetics and everything, the panels put on, they come into the listening room for me to listen. So this is our listening room.
Before we talk about the listening room,
Yes.
how many units in a given day are in production in the factory?
Oh, that is a little bit difficult to say. I would say at least 20 or 30 units. I mean, in different
different stages. Okay, cool.
Yeah. Our listening room, and where I do all the listening of products that are ready to ship, and also products under development. So what we use on the front end, we have our Rossini, the player system with a Rossini clock. We use TP 6.5 phono, and as you can see, we have 2 turntables. We have a VPI turntable and we have a SME turntable. This is a 7.5 in here that we're using. The speakers are the Rockport Aquila speakers. And right now we have a S400 in there, ready for listening.
Is this one S400 with 2 Siegfrieds? 'Cause
Yes.
I see.
Yes, a pair of Siegfrieds.
Right,
yes.
but you're listening to
We're listening to the S400.
and you're using all Norderstone cabling.
Yes, all Nordos Odin cables. Yes, all interconnects.
So you do listening here, and this is one level of listening, but you also do critical listening at home, where you have a bigger room with like a cement floor and all of that.
With
correct?
a much better listening room at home. And when we're doing development of new products, towards the final stage, then the product is brought back home for listening.
So
and then
it'll be
repeated.
so those will be new products
New
where you do the listening at home
Yeah.
in the Bay Area in Silicon Valley,
Right.
and those speakers are what?
Those are the Wilson Elixir speakers.
And you again have Nordis Odin, and do
Yes.
you use a DCS Rossini or is that a Vivaldi?
DCS Vivaldi.
Cool.
And we have a spiral groove turntable and also a Lyra Agner cartridge as well.
Great.
Let me take you to the shipping area. This is where products are ready to ship, but these are also products that are ready to go into the listening room for me to listen to.
And what percentage of products that end up going in the listening room do you maybe find something wrong that makes you unhappy and you want to send back for further testing?
Could be about 10%, I would say.
And what are the things you're listening for?
Well, first of all, of course, sonic quality. Okay, this pair of 450. Does it sound as good as all the other 450s that we have in production? And also noise level, whether it's noise from the tubes, noise from the transformers, any other unusual noise. I also do functional tests as well as a last step, in addition to our QC engineer who does the functional test.
So one question I have is, since we're doing quality control on all the individual parts and there are all these different levels of tests that you do, I guess even if all those individual parts pass, when they're put all together, the sum total could still be something that creates a new problem, and then we have to go back and figure that out.
Exactly, it does happen.
Yeah.
And does happen, and we have to go back and rework it.
So in a given week, like how much time are you spending in that listening room?
Every day I spend about 2 hours in the listening room.
Cool. And here we are in the gorgeous, brilliant sun of the Los Angeles smog. Aren't we lucky? Yay!
Thank you for coming
Sure.
to VTL and
This has
visiting
been
us.
great.
Really
This has been
been
really great. Thank you.